Okay, hey y'all, so we're back with another video, and it's a little bit different. We're in a little bit of a different setting, and it's gonna be a little different. So I am gonna do my nighttime skin routine, but I also want to talk about some other topics because I think it's kind of boring. Well, I love watching like skincare videos and stuff, but for me, I don't know shit about skincare, so I want to talk about a topic while I do this, because if I just be like, and this is a face wash I'm using, it's gonna be boring. So I wanted to talk about forgiveness. I have come to find that forgiveness is one of the most vital forms of self-care. It's fitting because we're doing self-care right now, so I just feel like it's important to talk about it. Like, self-care is a lot about taking care of your spirit, it's about taking care of your mental state, and it's also about taking care of yourself physically, but I feel like we tend to focus on the physical and not so much the mental. But I'm gonna start though. I'm gonna wash my face. So today I'm gonna be using the Origins Refreshing Scrub Cleanser. I don't use this all the time. I usually actually use a more gentle cleanser, but I do like to have that exfoliating stuff in there. I don't know how y'all feel about that, so please don't come for me, but I like it. So I'm about to wash my face. I'm gonna use one of these hair ties. So tie all that back. But yeah, I used to actually be like a super stubborn girl. Like, if you ask anybody, they would tell you I used to be super stubborn. I used to hold grudges real bad. And I will say, I kind of still do that. Like, I still hold grudges. Old habits die hard, y'all. Okay, old habits die hard. So yeah, I used to be a very stubborn person, and I still am. I'm kind of working on it, but I used to hold grudges because I am very much a, if you're not with me, you're against me type of person. And it's just because I am super loyal, so sometimes it's hard for me to understand how people can do me so foul. It's so hard for me to understand, especially if we're tight. Like, there's been times where I felt so betrayed by somebody, and I was like, fuck you forever, you know? But as I get older, I find that it is very exhausting to carry that energy with you. It's like a burden to carry that around, and it really just shows. And it's unfair to the people around you if you're constantly just pissed off, if you're constantly kind of just like jaded and angry. So I noticed that about myself, and I actually just was like, nah, this gotta change. So for my toner, before I kind of get more deep into it, I'm using Hatomugi. I actually asked my mom to get this for me in Japan the last time that she went, but she was like, get somebody else to do it because the shit is too heavy. So I actually found this little Japanese skincare place around me that sells all my favorite skincare stuff, but my grandma suggests patting it into your skin like this and not using like a cotton swab, and I'm gonna have to agree with homegirl. This is way better. Also, for all my girlies out there, if y'all love Korean skincare, I know it's really popular right now, please get into Japanese skincare. Japanese skincare, maybe I'm biased because I'm Japanese, but Japanese skincare is everything, and it's a little bit more gentle because, well, Korean skincare is really gentle too, but for me, I have really sensitive skin that's prone to hyperpigmentation and scarring and stuff, and I don't know, like, I just feel like Japanese skincare just works a little better with my skin type. Hit it with the toner, and then I'm going in with my Snail Mucin essence, and just putting that on. But yeah, carrying that around was just becoming very exhausting for me, and that's just not the person I wanted to be anymore. And I think it's never too late to reinvent yourself. It's never too late to change something about yourself that you don't like, or it just doesn't fit with your lifestyle anymore. And I was just feeling like being angry all the time. Don't get me wrong, I'm still like very easily agitated and easily annoyed person, but I really do forgive people. I've forgiven people for things that normal people probably be like, you're crazy. But I was just telling my sister this, forgiveness is more so for yourself. You're not forgiving that person and giving them a pass and giving them an excuse to come back into your life, but more so forgiving them so you can make amends with the situation and move on. How you choose to deal with that person after that is all up to you. And if you don't want to fuck with them no more, you don't have to fuck with them no more. But I think carrying all that anger and resentment towards somebody is not good for your soul. It's not good for your spirit. And I just started to notice that it just wasn't good for me anymore. So I stopped doing it. And I think that's just like a huge, oh, what's that? Part of the towel. It's a huge part of growing, to be able to recognize that and to be able to just move on, you know. I am gonna go in with this Derma E scar gel. I have a couple scars. I talked about this before, but I hate having scars, and I'm getting a pimple right here. I have some scars, like acne scars, and I used to have a big scar right here. And yeah, it's not there anymore, obviously, but yeah. Yes, I think forgiveness is something that we all need to practice a little bit more. And with forgiving people, I think it's really important to remember, like for me, once I started really sticking by my boundaries, letting my boundaries be known, and then something happens, like I express my boundaries and a situation happens, misunderstanding, whatever might happen. Also, I have a scar here from my dog, so I'm gonna put this on that too. Things happen, you know, and the only thing that you can really control is how you deal with the situation. So if you did everything in your power to let somebody know what your boundaries were, then there's nothing more that you can do. Like, why are you punishing yourself by carrying all that anger on you, when, not to be like, oh, it wasn't your fault because, you know, I don't know the situation, whatever hypothetical situation this is. You never know. Like, all you know is what you can do. You only know what you know. So if you did everything how you felt like you were supposed to do and things just don't work out, you need to forgive. You need to move on. And I was just telling my sister this. I feel like people who hold grudges hold others to a very high expectation. They hold them to an expectation that you should know what you did was foul or wrong, or you should know what you did hurt me a great deal. And a really hard truth to swallow, a really hard pill to swallow, is that they don't. You cannot expect other people to understand how badly or how much they really hurt you. And I think once I realized that, it just became a lot easier to forgive people. Like, I don't know if it's me feeling pity for people because they don't really understand, or I don't know. I think it's just more so empathy, that I can't expect everyone to understand how much something hurt me, and that's not their fault. It's not my fault, but I'm not gonna sit here and be angry at you over something that you cannot conceptualize, or something that you are choosing not to understand, something that you just cannot comprehend. Whatever the reason is, I'm not gonna sit here and try to rationalize it. And that's another thing. I don't try to rationalize other people's actions anymore. Me trying to rationalize somebody's actions, it just puts me in a really deep depression. I don't know, because I just can't. I can't rationalize. I really cannot. Because from my perspective, when somebody does something to me, I'm just like, okay, I can understand how they feel and then go from there. But I genuinely feel like people just do not do that with me. Like, they just really cannot understand. And I don't know if I'm just a really bad communicator. That could be it. I'm working on it. I mean, shit. Sorry, I'm fucking trying. But I don't know if it's because I'm a bad communicator, but people just really fail to understand me sometimes. And in my brain, I feel like I'm clearly communicating with them. But I've come to learn that when I reach that point with somebody, I'm just constantly explaining myself away. I need to go. I need to excuse myself from the relationship and just bounce, because it's not fair. It's not fair to anybody, because you're constantly putting somebody else to the ringer, constantly badgering them, constantly getting into conflict with them. And then it's not fair to you, because you're constantly having to explain yourself and find different ways to explain something that you clearly feel like you've explained before. And it just becomes very exhausting. So I feel like a lot of relationships, you can just let it go. One of the most impactful quotes that I ever received was from my grandma back at home. She had this like little newspaper clipping in one of her photo albums. It said, "If you love something, let it go. If it comes back to you, it was meant to be yours, and if it doesn't, it never was." And I think that's just one of the best quotes to live by, because you can't hold on to things for longer than they're meant to be. You can't. And it's okay to let things go. People come and go, things come and go, relationships come and go, and you just have to be okay with letting them go. And I'm not somebody that's like, oh, you need to spin the block with people, blah, blah, blah. But this, I guess, more so applies to like friendships and stuff. If something happens where you're not friends anymore, usually that just means you're not seeing eye to eye on something. And it's totally okay if y'all just drift apart. And who knows? I've reconnected with friends years later. I've reconnected with them after they felt like they grew a little bit. They understood where I was coming from. I changed a lot, you know, people change. So you have to just be open to that idea, but also don't get too comfortable with the idea that the friendship or relationship might come back, because it sure as shit might not, okay? And you have to be okay with it not. And I think that also just comes with a lot of forgiveness, like forgiving yourself for me, I'm always like, how do I let myself get into this situation? Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself and allow yourself to move on. And if something is meant for you, it will truly come to you when the time is right. And I am a big advocate of not rushing things. So let things come and go. And it comes with a lot of forgiveness. And I just think being compassionate to yourself and letting yourself feel these things out and experiencing them in the first place is so important to growth. So that's one thing that I really wanted to talk about today. I had like a whole talking point, but I just started doing my skincare. I was like, I'm gonna show y'all what I've been doing. And I just want to film like a video like this because I think they're so cute. But I started rambling. The next item that I'm going to be using is this Tatcha, what is this called? The Dewy Skin Cream. So this is just a sample size and I'm about to go to sleep. I have combination dry skin. Like honestly, I have dry skin. I have dry sensitive skin. So the things that I use are very high moisture items. I usually avoid acids. I kind of want to do a video on how I repaired my moisture barrier. I'm gonna put a picture somewhere here because I completely fucked my moisture barrier up, y'all. I fucked my moisture barrier up by using a bunch of acids because my friends have oily skin, acne prone oily skin, and they're like, use this acid, and their skin was looking good. And I was like, bet, girl, wrecked my skin. It wrecked my skin because I was using products that was not meant for my skin type, like, grr. But I repaired my moisture barrier and look at her. I got a little pimple here, but okay. Maybe it's not the best when I close up, but from far away my skin look good, okay? So, not too much. But today is not one of the days I'm using acids because I was in the sun. You might not be able to tell, but I gotta get my melanin back. But yeah, I'm gonna be using this to moisturize my skin. This is the sample size, but I do recommend the big size, especially if you have like combination or dry. I honestly would recommend this more for dry skin. I don't know why it's a combination. I have dry skin. I have fucking dry skin. Like, my skin is dry, my scalp is dry, everything about me is dry. Humor, dry. But yeah, I think I mentioned this in my other video, but I was really going through it recently. And usually when I'm going through it, I haven't been through it with a guy in a long time. I be going through it with my friends because I am a girl's girl to the T. I'm a girl's girl, so sometimes shit just be like really pissing me off. Like it just really, it hurts me deep when something happens between me and my friends. So for instance, I have two best friends. We're a friend group of 3. We've been friends since 2012. So we go together real bad. And obviously in 10 plus years of friendship, you're gonna have arguments. You are going to have arguments. And I just feel like the way me and that group of girls bounce back is more like sisters. Because at the end of the day, we know, oh, I have a psoriasis patch and I've been using this Eucerin on it. I probably should use something else, but this has been helping. But I just feel like I bounce back different with that group, and I really don't have that many friends, guys, to be honest. And I'm actually really okay with not having friends. And I think it's just because I spent so much of my life alone. Like both of my parents worked a lot, and it was just me and my sister. So I felt like I was alone a lot because me and my sister used to beef, okay? Back then, we were close too, but we used to really brawl. But I just felt like I was always alone, so I'm very comfortable with being alone. I'm okay with being single. Like, I don't know. I told my sister this the other day. I told her, get comfortable with the idea that you might end up alone, girl, because the way shit is looking right now, I don't know. So I was like, just get comfortable with the idea of being alone. It's not that bad. It was really not that bad. And I feel like you create a relationship with yourself that, you know, when you create such a good relationship with yourself, you don't want to let anybody else come in between that relationship. And I think that's the definition of protecting your peace. Like, protecting your peace is protecting the relationship that you have built with yourself. And once you start protecting that and like treating it a little bit better, you don't let anybody else play with you, right? So you're just more likely to meet a quality person that's going to treat you right. And I think I attribute a lot of that to my friendships, like my homegirls, because my homegirls have taught me love. They've taught me compassion and forgiveness, and they've taught me that people make mistakes, I make mistakes, and there's misunderstandings all over the place, but you can still come together and sincerely apologize. You can sincerely change your ways and show people that you mean what you say, you know? So I don't know where I'm trying to go with this, but I just have so much to say. My brain has just been all over the place. I've just been really going through it, and today was probably the first day in a really long time that I felt like things were not a mess, like not falling apart. And a big reason why I was going through it was because I was going through it with a homegirl that I have been friends with for such a long time. And I am not going to talk about that situation on here because it's a very, very personal matter. But from what I have learned from that is that being like a very resilient person and being okay with not getting an apology, not ever getting acknowledgement for how you felt in that moment is just a reality of being in a relationship and being friends with people, being in romantic relationships, work relationships. It's just, if you're a more resilient and empathetic person, you're not gonna get justice. Like, that's just what it is. Sometimes you're just never gonna get closure. But the closure that you get is the forgiveness that you extend to others and the compassion that you extend to others. So I think I'm gonna leave the video at that. Let me know if you guys want me to do more of these. I have a lot more. Like, I love talking about random life topics. People are like, I love conspiracy theories. No, bitch, I like having therapy sessions, okay? So I love doing this. Like, I can talk about relationships. I can talk about like school. I can talk about career. I could really talk about anything. But yeah, I kind of want to do more of these. This was a really quick skincare because like I said, I was in the sun today. So my main goal was to just like replenish my moisture. But this is the sunscreen that I used today. Very, very basic. Honestly, y'all, people talk shit about this sunscreen, but this is like brown girl friendly. So that's really all I care about. I do have another sunscreen, Japanese one, but it actually leaves no white cast, which is kind of surprising. That one's also black girl friendly if anybody was interested. I'll see if I can find a picture and put it here. But yes, that was my little spiel for the day or for the night. So I'm gonna go now. I am so thankful if you watched this far, and make sure you give me some feedback, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. I love you guys so much, and I promise I'm gonna get a little better at these like sit down videos where I kind of talk to y'all, because I love doing this kind of content. It's just that I never had a chance to do it, but I'm gonna do better with my time management, and yeah, we're gonna get back to it. So yes, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye. She only coming for 6. Speeding that bitch. I stick up and put on their neck.